part of the Press Play Podcast Network.
Iguodala to Curry, back to Iguodala, up for the layup. Oh, blocked by James. It's over. It's over. Cleveland is a city of champions once again. The Cavaliers are NBA champions.
That sound means it's time for Cavs on the Break NBA podcast, part of the Press Play Podcast Network. I am your host, Chase Smith, and with me, the man, the myth, the legend himself, JIA, Jeremy and Akron. Jeremy, I miss you. It's good to see you, man. That's pod. We haven't podded together, and I feel like forever. We used to pod together twice a week, man, and now it's now it's like once in a blue moon. We're going to fix that this season with Cavs on the Break.
Yes, sir.
Jay, what's up, buddy?
Dude, I am so excited. I'm so pumped about the Cavs. So pumped to be here. So pumped to be on air with two legends, you and Sam. Excited, man.
I don't know about that, but it is great to talk to you. You caught the Cavs bug before last year. Yeah. Early. Mostly because I think you're a guy who knows a good deal. I think that's maybe how it started.
Right. Yes, exactly. I went to more games than anybody because of the Cavs monthly package.
but you saw the birth of this team.
I was early. Look, I was early on Garland. I loved Garland. I loved the pick. I loved all of it with Garland. And yeah, at first I looked maybe wrong, but obviously it's working out in our favor now.
Well, you know what else is working out in our favor?
Go.
Our other host.
Let me
tell you about him. He is the NBA writer for hoopswire.com. He's our Cavs insider, national NBA writer, Sam Amico. Sam, what's up, buddy?
Gentlemen, it's great to see you again. Jeremy, it's really good to see you. I haven't seen you in a while. Obviously, I can see you. Our listeners can't, but
Sam, fresh off a radio spot, man. You just got off the radio and you're like, I'm going to do a podcast now.
Yeah, I do my best talking in the evening. So yeah.
we are recording this late Tuesday night. So when you're listening to this, probably on a Wednesday, the Cavs will play today. We're going to talk about that after the break. But currently, as it stands, John Sable is currently anchoring over at Fox 8 tonight. Couldn't join us.
He's slumming over there.
Slumming over there. Shouts to Sable. and shouts to Zach for checking this pod out. The guy does every single episode. Shouts to him. But currently, right now, the Cavs started the season 2-1, winner of 2 straight, 3 competitive games, I might say. I want to do a segment here. We're going to revisit from time to time called the Triple Threat, where I'm going to bring out some topics and we're going to talk about them. 3, you can do 3 things from a triple threat. You can pass, you can dribble, you can shoot. And we're going to do a triple threat here with the Cavs. I want to start with the most important part of the Cavs right now for being 2-1, and that is Donovan Mitchell. Spida, you've seen all the stats, you've seen all the records. First player to start with 30 plus points games for the Cavs in 3 games. Most points over the first 3 games, 100 points, past Austin Carr, straight dominating. Sam, is this good or bad for the Cavs?
Well, I think it's great, in the sense that he's not going to score this much, obviously, every game, and they're not going to need him to, but it's nice that he's doing it while Garland's out and they do need him to. And not to mention the fact that you already knew the guy was capable of getting 30 on you any night. He's showing you that he hasn't lost that in a new system with new teammates. And I thought JB Bickerstaff said it great the other night, was all of these are needed points right now. They're not empty points.
Yeah.
You'll see guys who, this guy, you look at the box score, he had 20 points and you didn't even know it because, just didn't really impact the course of the game. Whereas Donovan Mitchell really is doing it within the team concept. And this is a team that's going to get it done by playing team basketball, So the fact that he's doing it while fitting in it's just been really impressive and more impressive than I thought it would be right off the bat.
Jeremy, before I hear you agree with Sam, people are saying Chase is dumb. Why is he saying this is a good or bad thing? Obviously, it's a good thing. Why do you think I am having a little throwing caution to the wind here with having Donovan Mitchell's usage be so high, being so dependent on him to score. Why could that be a bad thing for this team so early in the season? Help me out here.
Well,
defend me even if you don't want to.
No, I understand what you're saying because you don't want to have to rely on him like that. You want it to come. But one thing that I think that Sam said and the coach said that's right, it's coming the flow of the offense. It isn't like he's dominating the ball. The thing that I've been most impressive with Donovan, and if you remember, I was the one that kind of planted the seed about this trade a long time ago on the show. I wanted Donovan. I had to throw that in there. I give myself credit. No, but I've wanted Donovan forever. I've been a huge fan. I watched as much West Coast basketball as I could. That all being said, he's better than I thought he was. He's so under control. Like he's sort of a different style than Garland. Sometimes Garland looks like he's going a million miles per hour. Everything with Donovan is paced. It's slow. It looks easy. He gets to whatever spot he wants to get to on the floor. He always looks like he's so under control, and he's in the flow of the offense. Everything. It doesn't look like he's pound, 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 shoot. It doesn't look like that. It looks smooth and in the flow. I just think that yeah, could it be a problem if this is still going on in 3 weeks when Garland is in the lineup? Yeah, maybe then, but I don't think it's going to, because what was our problem last year was we didn't have a secondary playmaker. Well, now we do. It's just he's got a cut on his eye, so he's out. So yeah. I think that you'll see them play off of each other well, and you'll see them give each other breaks where each one will dominate the ball. So I don't think it's a problem at all, Chase. Now, if we're talking about this in a month and Garland's struggling and they're not fitting in, then maybe. But at this current moment, like Sam said, like Coach said, all his points are needed, and he's doing it within the framework of the offense. And it's a beautiful thing to watch right now.
So it's encouraging to me that, well, also I love that he's on this team. And I think I think him and Kyrie might be some of the like most purest, like just like shot creators, get buckets.
Yeah.
The Cavs have seen in a long, long time, but I think he's trading for him. And we talked about this a little bit pre-show, and I want to bring it up now. Is having Donovan Mitchell on the team going to limit Mobley's growth and his ceiling?
Oh, no, okay. So we did talk about, behind the scenes here. We did talk about, my worry is that Mobley looks exactly like he looked last year. I used the baby draft. I actually stole that from my friend Mark. I know he listens. Shout out, Mark. He looks like a baby giraffe at times running around out there, just kind of like uncoordinated. When he tries to take someone off the dribble, it just looks messy. And I was hoping that would be what he expanded his game to this year, is that he could take people off the dribble. It doesn't look good. Now, I actually heard Windhurst today defend Mobley, saying he thinks he's still struggling a little bit with that ankle injury. He's just not saying anything about it. So he said he wants to give it a couple weeks before he makes any determinations on Mobley's development. And that's probably fair. And it's probably fair, like you said, that Donovan has it doesn't look like anything's getting really run for Mobley. The times he has looked bad, he kind of caught the ball at a spot and tried to go to the rim, and it just looked messy. So maybe there is something to that with Garland being out, the structure of the offense not being where it's supposed to be, and maybe the ankle injury. So I'm not ready to sound the alarms yet, but I guess I'm a little concerned that he looks like the same player he was last year.
Sam?
Yeah, I think that the thing with Mobley, I do think not having Garland there hurts, but I think more than anything is you're integrating a 3-time All-Star into a lineup with a guy who's just coming off his rookie year. So there are adjustments all around. When you play with a guy like Mitchell, it's going to take some time. Even though it's a positive thing, and it's going to be positive in the long run, it's going to take some time. I think for not just, especially for a guy who's coming off his rookie year like Mobley, and especially when he doesn't have the same point guard out there that he had last year in Garland, because Garland's been hurt. So I think those two things have impacted him. I do think, like Jeremy said, sometimes he gets the ball, and last year he never. I joked the other night. Last year he never looked like a rookie. He always looked like a veteran from game one. Well, against the Wizards, he looked like a rookie. He was forcing things, wasn't really finishing on moves, couldn't handle the ball very well. He's been a little bit sloppy. Yes, there's a concern. Is this going to be a long-term thing? Has he leveled off? Is it just going to be a sophomore slump? which you don't want either. You want to see progression. Like you said, you got to give it, if we're still having this conversation at midseason, then you start to get concerns. But right now, I just think bringing in Donovan Mitchell isn't just an adjustment for Mobley; it's an adjustment for everybody.
That's
but
fair.
Mobley's probably going to be impacted the most.
Hasn't seemed to be an adjustment for Jared Allen.
Well, Jared Allen's game is a lot different because he gets a lot of his points and stuff off putbacks and running the floor and finishing.
Look, we're 3 games in, so I'm not trying to sound the alarm on Evan Mobley right now or say that Donovan Mitchell is going to limit Mobley's growth or ceiling. But going into the season, hearing all the hype around Mobley, hearing how he's one of the best prospects in the league and how he's going to anchor this Cavs team forever, I think collectively we all would have liked to seen a little more productivity from him with Garland out. We would have liked to seen him maybe share a little bit more of the point load or just have a little more control than what we've seen these last 2 games.
I think part of that, Chase, is on Evan to figure out what he does well, right? Remember Kevin Garnett at first no one could figure out exactly what he did. Then he developed that 19-foot jumper that became unstoppable because he's so long. I think Evan just needs to figure out what he does well. Donovan needs to figure that out too, so he can get him the ball in spots where he can do what he does well. And I think, last year you saw a lot of oops. You saw the timing between Garland and Mobley become impeccable at times, and I think that's a filling out process with those two. And it's on Evan to figure out what exactly he does well and develop that. So, yeah, like Sam said, like I said earlier, I don't think there's anything to worry about just yet, but it is a little slightly disappointing on an otherwise awesome beginning to the season.
Yep. And when you have a player like Donovan Mitchell, like Spider, you're afforded the slow development of some players because he can just take control of a game for better or worse, whether it's turnovers or you create turnovers and just get buckets. And he, at the end of the day, it's about getting buckets, and Spider can score. It's pretty cool to watch, Sam.
It's sorry.
Yeah, no, I mean, it's been, I knew that, and I think a lot of Cavs fans who had only seen him play a couple times a year with the Jazz knew he was good. I can remember a couple years ago when LeBron was still in Cleveland that he just lit up the Cavs in Utah, and I was like, boy, they can't stop that guy. Well, now we see there's a reason for that because he's pretty much unstoppable. Like Jeremy said, he gets to wherever he wants on the court, and he's got a great touch. So, and look, he's still adjusting too. I mean, he's in an entirely new situation. So I think that they've played well. They had a really good shot to win in Toronto without Garland. And Toronto's, we saw what kind of physical, scrappy,
dirty,
weirdly built team they are. They're all 6'8". I think they said they had 8 guys who stand exactly 6'8" out of 12, 10 guys who play. So that was an adjustment. I just think they've really impressed me more than I thought they would. And then they went in Chicago and blew out the Bulls. I just think that they've impressed me more than I thought they were going to this early. Yes, there are a little bit of hiccups. There's a very, very slight concern with Mobley not totally dominating. But I think that they're better than I thought they would be. I just thought it would be a bigger adjustment.
Jeremy, close us out here on Spider.
So the thing that I think's been so impressive is, you hear he's a little undersized, but I think the fact that he's so strong, that makes up for the fact that he's 6'2" and not 6'5". I heard Wendy say today that he's the closest thing to Dwayne Wade in his prime in the NBA today, because he's kind of similar to that style where Dwayne Wade could get to wherever he wanted to. And Donovan's kind of the same way. I think Mitchell, he could maybe a little better than Wade in certain areas like shooting and stuff. But I just think the fact that he's so put together and so strong is why, even with, they'll throw a 6'7" guy on him down the stretch, it doesn't really matter, because he just uses his strength to get by him. So very interesting, going to be very fun. I cannot wait till, I think Friday they're saying is Garland will probably be back Friday, probably not going to play tomorrow, even though they practice today. So I just can't wait to see it, all come together to get, with all the guys.
That, Jay, that might be Mount Rushmore JIA take, having Spider be better in some areas than Dwayne Wade in his prime. That's a pretty impressive statement.
I think he's got a better touch on his jumper than D Wade did. D Wade is a little taller, but
I guess
think
Spider maybe more range.
Really
I don't know about touch.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Okay, touch from range.
Us basketball players, Jeremy. There's a difference.
Yeah. I'm sorry. Excuse me. I deferred to the college basketball player.
He knows all about touch with range.
Touch and range is very different. No, I love that comp though. I love that Mitchell and Wade comp. I hadn't thought about that until you just said that. All right, so the second part here of our triple threat, I want to touch on Darius Garland's injury because I think starting the season against the Raptors, that's a tough first game. That's a scrappy team. You put Scotty Barnes versus Evan Mobley, and we talked about this in our season preview pod. How some people are talking a lot about them, but they're kind of overlooked in the East a little bit. And they played really physical. I'm going to say they played dirty. It's just a major blower to have Darius Garland go out halfway through the first game of the season and to miss games and to miss games. Garland isn't, he's missed games before. He was injury prone. That was one of the notes on him coming out of college. Is this going to be something we see throughout the season, Sam?
Well, I would hope that he doesn't get poked in the eye very often. But and that has nothing to do with durability. It's just dumb luck right there. I mean, you're going to catch a pass and somebody pokes you in the eye because they're swiping at the ball and lacerates your eyelid. I mean, I don't know. Injuries are a hard thing to predict. I will say, LeBron, one time when we were talking about why he was never injured when he was in Cleveland, he literally looked at the time, of course, Kevin Love and Kyrie Irving were injury prone all the time back then, right when he first got to Cleveland, and he looked over at them and he looked back at the reporters. He said, well, some guys just have more of a pain tolerance than others.
I remember that actually.
Yeah. So, I don't think anything that has involved Garland's been serious when he's missed games. I mean, your eye is swollen shut. That's a big deal. It's not like Garland's just taking it off because he doesn't want to play. He wants to be out there. He's fired up about having Mitchell. I think that guys tend to play through pain a little more. And I'm not saying Garland hasn't done this. I'm just saying for future reference, guys tend to play through pain more when they have something to play for. And the Cavs have something to play for. That's not to say you want these guys out there when they're injured. It's just maybe, that they will play through pain a little bit more because it's like, look, we could really go places, not 2 or 3 years, but maybe this year. So, yeah, I don't, fingers crossed that none of the guys suffer anything that's more than the occasional game here and there, 3 or 4 games, because injuries, as we saw, can derail a season. And last year it was a difference in the Cavs season, in my opinion. They were top 4 or 5 seed until all that stuff happened. So hopefully this year, better luck in that area because and the NBA is really trying to help out, with the way they're scheduling games. And I don't know if you saw Toronto's schedule. They played the Cavs and then they had like 2 road games in a row against the Heat. They played the Heat in Miami, then the Heat in Miami. Then they played a couple of days later, they're going to have like the Sixers in Toronto and then the Sixers in Toronto the next night. So the league is really kind of doing those baseball-like mini series to try to cut down on travel and theoretically cut down on the possibility of injury.
One of my favorite JIA-isms is he's the straw that stirs the drink. And it does seem like the Cavs that we've seen the last 2 games isn't really the true Cavs drink. Jay, how pumped are you to see Garland with the team? With the team?
I can't wait. And to touch on that Toronto game, one thing I thought was weird watching that at home was it felt like playoff intensity from like the get-go.
Yeah.
From the jump. I don't know if it's the Scotty Barnes, Evan Mobley thing. I don't know what it was, but man, that was a intense opener.
I think they're in
And,
similar
that
spots.
was like an
I think the
inbound
teams are in similar
pass.
spots. Yeah.
Yeah, fair. And that was like an inbound pass, and they were going for a steal on the inbound pass, and he got a lacerated inside eyelid. I mean, like Sam said, a freak injury that I've never heard of someone lacerating the inside of their eye in a basketball game. So, but yeah, I just can't wait to see Garland out there. I think you'll see the spacing, but the way he plays off of Donovan and Donovan plays off of him. It's going to be fun, man. I can't wait. Can't wait to get him out there. He's such a good shooter to space the spacing between the two of them. It's going to be, if they're both playing at the level that they can play, it's going to be fun to watch and B, tough to stop. So I just cannot wait to see it.
Sam, if we were playing the Celtics today, Wednesday, instead of the Magic, would Garland play?
I don't think so. I think it's not right. I don't think the eye is ready. I don't think it's all the way open yet. I think there's still work to be done in that area. The worst thing that JB Bickerstaff said probably in his time as head coach was, well, Darius can see out of the eye if you force it open. And I'm like, well, who wants that image in their head, of that eye being forced open? But I think it's still a little bit of healing to be done before he can play. And I think that, Friday to me sounds like the soonest that he's going to be able to do it. I will say this, Chase. It's funny that you mentioned that, because I was like, don't even bother to bring him back for the Magic. No matter how he's feeling, just let him, even if he's fine, just, and the Magic are,
Friday.
they're a young, hustling team with a really nice player in Banchero, but, at home, you should win that game even without Garland.
Hey, don't disrespect Franz Wagner like that. They got Wagner playing.
Franz is a nice player too. Yeah, they've got a lot of young players. I don't know how many of them are still going to be on the team in 4 years, but they've got a lot of young players, and young players tend to be hungry.
This final part of our triple threat here, I want to talk about the Cavs team defense, because it does seem, having Jarrett Allen back, that they have regained that defensive form. I saw a tweet today, and I want to read some of the stats that seem pretty impressive. The Cavs team defense are the third best in opponents' points per game. So they give up the third fewest. They have the third least fouls per game. They have the fourth best opponent field goal percentage within 5 feet of the rim. They have the fifth best defensive rating, and some really complimentary quotes from Coach JB Bickerstaff and even Donovan Mitchell and Jarrett Allen, talking about how the league needs to start recognizing and Jarrett Allen's playing like he is the defensive player of the year, because he is. That was from the coach, because he is. And then Donovan Mitchell was like, okay, I didn't know he was like that. And so it does seem that the Cavs defense is kind of getting their swagger back, which has me excited, because Donovan Mitchell can play good defense. He can play good defense. And if he, sees Allen and Mobley and the length of LeVert and all of these things, and Okoro playing lockdown, like, the Cavs can be a incredibly great defensive team, which can pay dividends through the season and the playoffs. And I think that mix with Spider is why we're 2-1 right now.
Yeah, I think so. And I'm glad you brought that up, Chase, because I think their defense.
Thank you. Finally, some.
It's the rare time when I'm happy that Chase said something. No,
yeah, it only took 4 years.
But I think it's great, because, it's funny. It's the first thing somebody asked Kevin Love. He was on the post game radio show after the Chicago game, and the first thing, they asked him a question. The first thing he brought up was, our goal coming in here was to keep them under 100 points. That's what we wanted to do. And if we thought we could do that, we think we can beat anyone on the road. So it's really, that's their mindset, is defense first. And I've been very impressed with LeVert. JB Bickerstaff never came out and said this, but I was told before camp, whoever defends the best is going to win that small forward starting job. LeVert heard that, and that's all he's done. He's really been a determined defender. I've been impressed with the way he's played defense. His offense has been up and down, but that's okay. It's been good enough. But Levert, Mitchell had a great steal. Mitchell is not going to be kind of that lockdown guy that's going to shut you down, but he is excellent at getting in the passing lanes.
Just
he had a
like
steal
who,
against
Jeremy?
Washington. Yeah,
D Wade,
well,
right?
yeah, I was just gonna say very Dwayne Wade like, yeah, and he makes a difference. And Mitchell talked about, knowing that Allen and Mobley is still doing, even though he's got his struggles on offense, he's still doing the
Yes.
job defensively.
Yes.
So, I think that's really, like you said, Chase. And I remember the Memphis Grizzlies last year said this. We played playoff basketball all season, which is to say, we played kind of that almost that defensively, that grind out style. We wanted the other team to feel like the game was ugly. Even if it wasn't, we wanted them to feel that way because they always wanted to, get in the passing lanes, be all over and be physical. And with the Cavs, they have two guys back there and really throw Robin Lopez in there.
Mm-hmm.
Guys
Scrappy.
that, they're gonna protect the basket.
Yep. Jay, what excites you the most about the Cavs defense?
The way that Allen and Mobley can contest shots without fouling. It's almost uncanny. We talked about this some last year. I mean, Allen is so good at it. When other guys would be a foul on the wrist or whatever, he just gets all ball. It's just unbelievable. I don't know if it's the hand-eye coordination, the timing. I don't know what it is, but it's almost uncanny. And another thing I've liked so far is how well they're rotating.
Yes.
There's contesting all those shots. They're getting a hand in the face. The rotations have been great. The scrambles have been great, getting out on the ball. And a lot of that's just effort. And, nobody controls effort for you. It doesn't matter what the other team's doing. Effort is the one thing that you solely control. And I think that's a testament to JD Bickerstaff and the leadership on the team, that it looks like they're always giving effort. To go back to one of Sam's points on Levert versus Okoro, I think if it's even close, they're going to go with Levert because Levert gives you something on offense. Right now, Okoro, they're not even guarding him. And you saw he has zero confidence on that outside jump shot. He hit like the corner of the rim and the backboard twice on two. It's just bad because he has zero confidence in his shot. And he still is a fantastic defender. I saw something the other day. He's still no one's scoring on him, but you're just not giving him anything on offense. And, at times Levert looks really sloppy with his handles. And if he's not very good against a really good defender, but he did hit two big shots in the fourth quarter the other night. He hit and one of them was a three, and he does have a lot of length, and he is giving a ton of effort, and he's playing good defense. And so I think that Levert actually fits well with what they're trying to do right now. And if he continues to give this kind of effort with his length on defense, it's going to be a fun season. And it is exciting to see a team play defense like this. We might joke about that defense, exciting, sexy. It is. It is. When you see these guys rotate, you see them giving effort all the time. Like Sam said, they're playing playoff defense the third game of the season, which is rare in the NBA.
There's going to be a game.
You can never forget.
Go ahead.
I was going to say, you remember the old Chris Bosh, coach is trying to work and we're trying to chill thing. You know what I mean? Because that's regular season basketball in the NBA, but not with the Cavs. They're playing playoff defense the first week of the season, and love to see it.
There's going to be a game where Karis LeVert scores 15, 20 points in a quarter because he gets hot and he kind of takes over. I don't know what game it's going to be, but it's going to happen. And that's just what he gives you. And it's going to happen.
Well,
he buckets too.
Teddy's already.
I'm going to tell you who it's going to be.
Yeah,
it's going to be one of those games though, against a team that doesn't play a lot of on the ball pressure. Because if you've noticed, Karis LeVert is better with teams that aren't pressuring the ball, because just for whatever, his handles are not great. So when you get some of and being at all the games, there's a marked difference between the way some teams on the West play defense and some teams on the East play defense. You go watch the Cavs play Philly, it's going to be a knockout, drag out, in your face, going under screens fight. You see some teams from the West come in, not as intense defense. And those are the kind of games where Karis LeVert looks really good offensively. And that's probably how, I was asking myself the other day, how did Karis average so many points with these poor handles? Well, because half your games are against teams that don't really care on defense. And the teams that don't really care on defense is where Karis can really, really take off. It's when you get into the grinded out games against someone in his face playing pressure defense on the ball that gives Karis some problems.
He needs a game against the Lakers.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
What I love about
the worst
this
team in the league right now.
What I love about this defense is just how they play the pick and roll, right? And I think Allen and Mobley give them that flexibility on the pick and roll. I think that's what surprised Mitchell so much is the perimeter defense of Jared Allen, right? And what he can offer that way, his length and how deceivingly quick his feet are. I think he and Mobley both have excellent footwork. And I think when you see proper footwork, then okay, offense can come, and we've seen it. We saw a little bit flashes last year. So I think like the footwork, the quickness, all of that, rotations, how they play the pick and roll. I mean, you either get that or you don't, and we got it.
Okay, so that's all very true.
Yeah, thank you.
Agree with you.
Appreciate it.
I just have one question.
Okay.
How have we gone this entire podcast without bringing up Chetty?
Oh,
Yeah.
my God.
Been like the most amazing 3-game run of his career.
The thing about, and this has been universally true throughout his entire career, Chetty will either shoot you into a game or shoot you out of one. He's either hot as wildfire or he can't hit the side of a barn. You know what I mean? But if they can somehow, I remember last year, the Boston game, they're down 21. He comes in and scores all those points. All those Avalanches last year, a lot of those were him and Kevin Love just getting super hot because he's always been a streaky guy. If they can figure out a way to just get him a little bit consistent, he's going to be a heck of a player. Look, plays hard all the time. He's got a beautiful shot when he's on. He can get to the rim. He's got length. He's got everything it takes to be a good NBA player. It's just finding that consistency. And if they can somehow squeeze that, also in the past, it seems like, Sam, correct me if I'm wrong here, but it felt like he was in JD's doghouse quite a few times last year. Like he'd have a decent game and then you wouldn't see him for 2 or 3 games.
Yeah, some of that was defensive related. But yeah, just some of it was just inconsistency all the way around.
Yeah.
So
right.
He needs
they
to
can just find a way though. Yeah.
Look,
I think he can find a way to get some consistency. He can be a legitimate rotational player, if not above average rotational player,
right,
for his career.
Right.
I think 15.
I'm sorry.
No, go ahead. I think 15, 20 minutes, I think, is his sweet spot. You get a couple shots in, heat check. If he's feeling it, feed him. If not, well, hey, maybe you get 7 to 12 minutes tonight. You know what I mean? I think over this course, I mean, he's been on the Cavs for a minute. Like, I think it's like him and Kevin Love, right? The longest tenured Cavs players. He's gone through a lot of expectations on the team. Like, LeBron kind of anointed him. That one picture, he's like training. It was like KD, Kawhi, Bron, like Jimmy Butler, and then like Chetty was there, which is like, what is going on?
That's funny.
And then it was like him and Sexton that one season, and it was just like, hey, show us what you got. And now I think he's kind of found his niche where, that second unit where he and K Love can do their thing and they're hot. It's great. And so I feel like we kind of where he needs to be, Sam.
Yeah, I agree. And I think that, again, it's just a matter of consistency. Now, that said, I'm sorry that I ruined your triple threat thing by bringing up a fourth item. But I think that he's been impressive. 3 games, first 3 games, you can't complain about him. That's for sure.
It's all right. They never call walks or travels in the NBA anyway, so I think we're good here.
That's true.
Isn't that good? All right, we're going to take a quick break. You're going to hear from Alliant Health Center and DraftKings. Stay with us. We're going to come back, talk about our Week 2 slate. Games coming up, and it's going to be great. Stick around. Cavs on the break, NBA podcast. We'll be right back. Ohio, listen, I have some great news for you. DraftKings Sportsbook is coming to the Buckeye State, and Press Play Podcast has sponsored with them to help you get the most bang for your buck. And it won't be long until you can bet on all your favorite sports from the comfort of your own home. To celebrate, all new customers will receive $200 in free bets when you sign up today using our promo code P3Cavs. That's capital P, the number 3, capital C, capital A, capital V, capital S, P3Cavs. Plus, 5 lucky customers will win a $100,000 free bet. You heard that right. $100,000 free bet. DraftKings Sportsbook is giving you right now, if you sign up for free, $200 in free bets just for signing up with our promo code, no deposit required. And you'll be entered to win a $100,000 free bet when you sign up. I just did it. It is super simple. It's easy. Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app today, wherever you get your apps on your phone. It is the best. You'll receive that $200 in your account the moment sports betting becomes legal in Ohio, looking like January 1st. You don't want to miss out on this incredible offer. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-589-9966, 21 years, ages, and older. You have to be physically present in Ohio. Eligibility restrictions apply. See terms at DraftKings.com/sportsbook. Subject to regulatory license requirements. One entry per customer. $200 will be issued as 8 $25 free bets. No purchase necessary for sweepstakes. Void where prohibited. Ends the first day DraftKings is allowed to operate in Ohio. See terms at dkng.co/OH. Hey, this is Chase Smith, and I'm here to tell you about our wonderful longtime friends over at Aligned Health Center. Did you know Aligned Health Center is the first and only chiropractic biophysics clinic in Northern Ohio? There is no other chiropractic clinic in the area that does what Aligned Health Center does. Let me tell you all about them. And I should know, I just went to them last month and they were incredible. From the welcome staff to the technicians and the doctors, it was an incredible experience, and I know you're going to enjoy your time there. Chiropractic biophysics is a technique that actually reshapes the spine and restores it to its original correct position. At most chiropractors you go in, you just get an adjustment and you're left with that short-term relief, but it's not actually fixing the underlying structural issues. But at Aligned Health Center, they actually aim to correct the structural issues and provide long-term relief to their patients. I'm talking about back pain, neck pain, migraines, ADHD, digestive issues, sleep disturbance, whiplash, scoliosis, and knee pain. Yes, that's right. They can even help correct lifelong knee pain. And it gets better. They're opening a huge, brand new state-of-the-art facility in Westlake. It's going to look so nice. I saw the floor plans. It looks incredible. You're going to love it. And in addition to chiropractic biophysics, they also offer regenerative medicine, which is a way to help rebuild cartilage in various joints and help reduce pain in places like knees, shoulders, wrists, and even your lower back. You can check them out online at alignedhealthcenters.com. That's Aligned Health Centers with an S, alignedhealthcenters.com, or call at 440-385-7357. Again, that's 440-385-7357 to schedule your exam. We will put the website and the phone number in the show notes of this episode.
Looking for new insights on the Cleveland sports scene with a unique side of Cleveland sports history? Then you found the perfect podcast. I'm John Sable.
And I'm Scott Sable, and we're hosts of the Sable Brothers on the Baseline podcast, a podcast about Cleveland sports, but not your typical podcast about the land's sports teams. Join us as we embark on a journey of sharing a unique and historical side of Cleveland sports history with the help of some former Cleveland sports stars and other historical figures.
All right here on the Sable Brothers on the Baseline podcast, part of the Press Play Podcast Network.
What's up, everyone? I'm Holly Wetzel.
And I'm Tyrus Powell.
And we are your hosts of The Orange is Oranger, a Cleveland Browns podcast on the Press Play Podcast Network. We give you all the dog pound coverage that you'll need to get you through the regular season, hopeful postseason, and I'd say off-season, Tyrus, but is there really ever an off-season for this team?
Thankfully for our podcast, Holly, there really never is when it comes to the Cleveland Browns. Don't miss our breakdown of each week's matchup, game recaps, and any and all news out of Berea to feed your Browns appetite. As we know, Holly, dogs gotta eat.
Yes, they do. So hit that subscribe button and never miss an episode of the Orange is Oranger, Cleveland Browns podcast on the Press Play Podcast Network.
The R&R podcast going to be rocking and rolling with you because football season is underway. College, Ohio State, the Power Fives, the MAC, the Browns. Michael Regai, are you ready to rock and roll with some football?
Kenny, I've been ready. This is our time of year. This is what R&R is all about. We're going to be with you every week. Kenny just said it, Browns, NFL, Ohio State centric. So you got to stay with us all fall and winter long here on R&R.
That's right. The Regai and Rhoda podcast coming to you here on the Press Play Podcast Network. Subscribe now and don't miss a show.
Hey everybody, I'm Gary.
And I'm Jason.
Opening cards as a kid, no matter what was in the pack, you always had that stick of chewing gum. Well, it turns out Gary and I opened up a box of 86 Tops last year, and let me tell you, the chewing gum does not age well.
Join us on the Ball Card Show,
the sports podcast for the sports collector.
All right, we're back. Cavs on the Break, NBA podcast. We're having fun tonight. JIA in the house, Sam Amico, talking Cavs, 2-1. Staring at week 2 slate, down the barrel, week 2 slate. And here's what we got going on. Today, October 26th, we're going to be hosting the Orlando Magic at the Rock, second home game. The Rock was buzzing. The Rock was rocking the home opener against the Wizards. I know, Sam, you were there. Jay, did you make it out?
No, I didn't make it to that one, but I'll be there today, I guess. And I'm
great
pumped.
Great crowd, overtime game. Everyone seemed to be in attendance. Tito was there. It was a great home opener. I wish I could have made it. Someone thought they saw me there. I was not there, unfortunately.
It was probably Eminem.
Or Jim Rome, one of them.
The jokes just keep coming. Then we play the very next day on Thursday. We travel to Boston to play the Celtics, who, despite the drama with the coaching staff, playing good ball. The TD Garden. And then Saturday, we got a day off on Friday. Saturday, host the Knicks at the Rock at home. Sam, if you're the Cavs, what are you looking to get out of these 3 games here at the end of this week?
Well, ideally you would like Garland back before at least the third one. But just more of the same, really. They to me, they could be very, very well could be 3-0. Could have won that game in Toronto, had a shot to win it. So I think really just more of the same, and more or less, let's, if you're the Cavs, you're probably thinking a little bit what we're thinking, and let's see if we can get Evan Mobley going a little bit, get him feeling more comfortable. I think Mobley needs to have one of those games where we're all kind of saying, oh yeah, he's the future. So, that's really what you're looking for, is really just more of the same, because as Love said the other day, if they defend like they know they're capable of defending, they will have a shot against anybody, including the Celtics on the road, as well as the Celtics have been playing.
Jay, what are you looking forward to checking the game out tonight, Wednesday?
I think just seeing if they can build on what they did at home the other day, make this a home court advantage where you're a 35-36 win team at home, right? Make it tough to come in here. The crowd, everyone talks about the crowd. Donovan talked about the crowd. Keep that going. Make it to where people don't want to come play here, and we have a real home court advantage. The best teams win 35, 36, 37 home games every year. Kind of build on that. And like Sam said, get Evan going a little bit. Try to, don't force it, I would say, but get him going and get Garland healthy by the end of the week. I think we're trending that way. I heard he was on the court a little bit today. He was pretty pumped in his stunner shades on the sideline last game. So get him. I know he can't. I'm sure he cannot wait to get out there and play. So I think that get Garland back and build on that home court advantage you're starting to build here.
Jay, what do you think the diff is going to be against the Magic? What's the diff?
I think it's going to be, Apollo's impressive. I'm looking forward to seeing him tomorrow. Actually, looks great so far. But I think the Cavs, I think this is a double-digit win. I think 15-17, somewhere in that range. Probably build a big lead, and then they come back a little, and then we close them out in the fourth quarter with a couple threes from Donovan or Dean Wade or somebody. So I'm going to say Cavs 15-17, somewhere in there.
Sam, what's the diff against the Magic here on Wednesday night?
I'm going to go with 17. Yeah.
Oh, look at this. Great minds.
Well, I was just thinking that, maybe the Cavs will start a little slow or something, and the Magic will be all fired up because the Cavs are, one of the teams that everybody's talking about in the East. And then I think they'll pull away. Eventually talent will win out, because they have the best player on the floor. Your theory, Chase,
that's,
if you have the best player on the floor, that greatly, greatly increases your chances of winning. And I would argue that,
Cavs have at least the top 2,
probably the 2 or 3 best players on the floor, even without Garland. And that's no shot.
Sam is loving some Chase tonight. Sam, man, before you know, he's going to be quoting me in an article.
Don't
Man.
worry, yeah. Where is it? We were supposed to write another article. That was our agreement. I would be nice to you on the podcast. You'd write more articles.
All right, I can see what I can do. I think the diff will be 7. I think we will have a lead 15-20, and then I think by the end of the game it'll be 7. Sam, what would a road victory in Boston mean for this young team, and say to the league?
I think the league's already taken them seriously, but yeah, I mean, that would say to them is, all this stuff we're doing and that we believe in, guess what? It really, really works, and it's working early. I think they think that anyway, but I just think that would confirm what they kind of already know. So that, to me, there are a lot of reasons you can win a game against a team that's, viewed as superior. Maybe they're down. Maybe their star player is not feeling great or got into a fight with his girlfriend or wife before the game or something. There's so many elements to every game. But if you're a team like the Cavs, this is who you're measuring yourself against, right? Because Boston came out of the Eastern Conference last year. Yeah. You can go into their place and not even win, but just say you're playing them to a fight to the finish. That says a lot about you. And I think the Cavs, look, to me, they're a lot of fun, but they're also right there in terms of contender status already with this group.
Jay, I'll say this: if we beat Boston in Boston, the hype train is just going to be out of this world. In my opinion, I don't know
I don't want to be on the podcast next week if you're hosting and they win in Boston.
I am hosting next week, so be ready. Be ready. Jay, I mean, Cavs win in Boston. I know it's early, but my goodness, that'd be sweet.
Yeah. Well, look, Boston just got stomped by Chicago after we beat Chicago. So who knows? It is early. That's the one thing, though. The hype train will pick up, but it is early in the NBA. Teams have off nights. You have one bad shooting night. Anybody can beat anybody. But I think it will mean a lot to the Cavs because, like Sam said, they'll probably start believing, hey, look, maybe what we are, maybe we are him, as
we belong
say these days.
Yeah, so, that we belong. That and I think the Cavs match up well against the Celtics. I think our length gives anyone problems. You're not agreeing with the matchup that we have against.
No, I think at the other.
Both of you made the same face at the same time. You gave me the your wincy eyes, like trying to convince yourself.
I think Boston probably thinks they match up well against the Cavs because they're strong on the wings. That's maybe we're not quite as strong with Jaylen Brown and Jason Tatum, but who knows? It remains to be seen. We're a different team now, so we'll have to see.
Yeah, I think that, obviously we're probably superior in the backcourt. In fact, definitely.
Yeah.
But those wings are problems for everybody. It wouldn't just be the Cavs.
Yeah.
Brown and Tatum are, essentially the two best, I guess probably the best 1-2 combo at wing in the whole league. So
I would agree.
That's just tough, but they're built differently than the Cavs. But I think that to your point again, Chase, the fact that the Cavs have two guys in Mobley and Allen back there to protect the rim is not something that many teams have. And that, is something that Tatum and Brown and a lot of people that it created havoc last year, if you remember, for Giannis Antetokounmpo.
Yeah. That's who I think we match up the best against. But I think you put Okoro on Tatum, and you have help from the bigs, and I think it's hard to shoot over them, hard to drive by. I just think it's hard.
Right, and again, it all starts with defense for the Cavs. So if they defend well enough, they'll give themselves a shot.
Well, we'll see. Last thing here, the game against the Knicks on Saturday. The Rock. Will Donovan Mitchell score 40 points? I just have a feeling he's going to look at this game and just going to have a ton of fun. I think if we have a 2-game win streak going into the Knicks and the Cavs are playing loose and having fun, I can see the Cavs steamrolling the Knicks and Mitchell just torturing them just because it would be fun. And I would not be shocked if he drops 40 that game.
Well, he certainly would like to. it being his hometown team and the team that was supposed to trade for him. Everybody thought had worked out a trade for him. But, I think that he's capable of, obviously we know this, he's capable of doing that against anybody. And certainly, again, as Jeremy said, as a team, the Cavs want to take care of home court advantage, especially against those teams that aren't expected to make the playoffs or are on the brink. Like obviously the Magic aren't, the Knicks are kind of hopeful maybe of a play-in. Those are the teams that you really want to take care of business against at home. So that way, if you lose a game at home to somebody like the Warriors or the Bucks or, the 76ers, it's not that big of a deal.
Yeah. I think you'll probably get a motivated Jalen Brunson that game as well, because he's hearing some of this stuff as well. And I'm a huge Jalen Brunson fan. And, going into I heard a lot of people kind of laughing at that contract. I was like, hey, I think Jalen Brunson's a heck of a player, and he's been nothing short of spectacular so far this year. So I think that'll actually be an interesting matchup as well. So yeah, a lot of fun stuff to look forward to. Now I expect the Cavs to win that game, but it could be an interesting, fun night.
Well, this has been
always an interesting fun night when you're talking to Chase.
I was just going to say this has been an interesting fun night. I was just going to say that because that does it for this episode of Cavs on the Break NBA podcast. Thank you all so much for downloading and listening. Shouts to the Press Play podcast. Thank you for making this possible. Make sure to follow us on Twitter at Cavs on the Break. We always follow back. Shouts to DrafKings Sportsbook. Download the app, sign up with promo code P3Cavs to receive $200 when gambling becomes legal in Ohio in January. Federal restrictions apply. Shouts to our other sponsor, Aligned Health Center, our good friends at Aligned Health Center. Love those people. If you have neck pain, back pain, shoulder pain, knee pain, go check them out at alignedhealthcenters.com. Jeremy, did you know I went to check them out over the summer?
I lost you, dude. I didn't hear you.
That's okay.
I'll do this.
Jeremy, did you know I went to check them out over the summer?
No, I didn't know that. I'm sorry. No,
they were fantastic. They took care of me. I got to talk to your boy. I got to meet the whole crew. It was awesome.
Dr. Big Rig.
Check them out. Aligned Health Centers. Follow Sam on Twitter at Amico Hoops. Catch all of his works and writings at hoopswire.com at Wire Hoops. Follow Jeremy on Twitter. That's right. Jeremy on Twitter at Jeremy in Akron, the OG. He's back. How have you enjoyed being back on Twitter, Jay?
Actually, I love it because it's just been great. It's been great. And no issues. Been fun, man. I love being back, actually.
Good. Sam, I have a question.
I hopefully have an answer.
You do, and I feel like we're on the same wavelength. Sam, who wins the Junkyard Dog Award for this episode?
I got to go with Jeremy. Jeremy return. Oh, what? You want it?
Yeah, I thought I had it in the bag.
Look at the glory hound. Chase the glory hound.
I didn't know you were eligible.
Oh man! All right. Well, Jeremy.
Myself or Jeremy?
Look, I'm fine with giving it.
Give me my shade.
I'm fine with giving it to Jeremy. I miss him. He's a podcast legend, and so anytime he gets it, it is always well deserved. So, Jeremy, congratulations on the Junkyard Dog Award for this episode.
If I get Chase, pick every week.
Sam, it probably should go to a guy who played college basketball.
That's true.
Sam, final thoughts.
I think what the Cavs have done so far is just built off last season, and Donovan Mitchell really is everything that Cavs fans had hoped and more.
Yeah, it's been great. All right. Well, Mike Breen, take us out.
Congratulations, Cleveland. Your decades-long wait is finally over. The Cavaliers are NBA champions.